Good morning and happy Saturday. Welcome to Argyle Breakfast on this, your second game of the season. And the excitement and the anticipation of the season starting has led now to the relative calm of our first away game today, and over 1,500 Janners, born and honorary, are making their way up to Lancashire to take on Bolton Wanderers this afternoon. So good luck to all of you travelling. Hope you have a safe journey, and for those of you watching elsewhere in the world, thank you for joining us here on Argyle Breakfast this morning. We've got 2 hours of content to get through for you before kick-off later on this afternoon and get you in the mood for match day, and some great guests as well coming along to join us in the studio. You won't want to miss it. So let's have a little look at what we've got coming up for you this morning then. We are going to be joined live in the studio by new signing Jack McKenzie as he adjusts to life in Plymouth and continues on his recovery from injury. And Craig Noon, who played for both Argyle and Bolton, will sit down to talk about his unusual journey into football. So many great things to come for you here on Argyle Breakfast this morning. Plus, of course, we'll have another attempt at getting involved in that new game. Get the badge in. You don't want to miss that. That will be coming up towards the end of the show this morning. And it's already becoming a bit of an Argyle Breakfast favourite. Speaking of which, here is another Argyle Breakfast favourite. It's none other than Aaron Cusack in the studio. Do you like that one, Aaron?
Good morning, Aaron. How are you? That was well timed, wasn't it?
Nice little segue.
Yeah. You didn't write that, did you?
No.
No, I didn't think you did. No. Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. No. It was not the perfect start last weekend. Lovely here in the studio.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the football didn't quite reflect the positive mood we were having in the morning, but nice to just see everything out on the pitch, get things underway. And I think, Tom Cleverley reflected on the game and said, it's his job to see what went wrong and make it better for this afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, there were lots of positives, obviously the result aside. I thought they played well at times. They worked the ball really well last week, and they carved out a number of good opportunities to convert. It was just the sloppiness of the goals that they conceded, which you don't need me or you to identify that. They would have picked that up straight away. So they would have probably done a lot of work this week on, making sure that they limit the glaring errors as often as they would like, and try and, turn good performances, because there were elements last week that were positive, into points on board.
Yeah, and it's a big game today in terms of distance to travel. First away game. We know that in previous our away form hasn't been that great, and also big in the fact that going up against former Argyle manager Stephen Schumacher and a couple of other familiar faces that he has got in his backroom staff too. Yeah,
Mark Hughes, Jimmy Dickinson in particular, head of recruitment. So they were integral in their contributions here over the last 4 or 5 years. But that's football. Football evolves and moves on really quickly. It's going to be a battle. I watched Bolton versus Stockport last Sunday, and Bolton I thought were good.
Yeah.
They were unlucky to have not come away with anything from that game. So today will be a really difficult fixture, irrelevant of this away day hoodoo that we need to put to bed.
Good morning, you're watching Argyle Breakfast with me, Erin Black, and Aaron Cusack. Now, if you are a football fan and a writer, the obvious thing to do is write a book about your experiences following your favourite team. Whether our next guest, Darryl Barkwell, did that about Argyle or not, we will find out imminently. He wrote his first novel, FC Farce, which was released earlier this year, and he's with us now to talk about it. Good morning, Darryl. Thanks for joining us in the studio.
Thanks for having me on.
No, pleasure. I mean, we'll take a little look at the book in a minute, but you released this earlier this year, is that right?
Yeah, end of January, yes.
Okay, so talk to us about your background then. Has writing always been on the cards for you? How did it come about?
Yeah, so I work in marketing, so I do a lot of writing for my day job. So I work for a financial services company, so it can be a little bit dry. Hopefully my boss isn't listening like that. So yeah, I obviously, massive Argyle fan, massive football fan, have been for years, and I just kind of started piecing together a story in my head about a chaotic football team. And as it started kind of, growing legs, and I just had to get some of it down on paper and just started writing FC Farce quite spur of the moment, really.
Yeah. Well, if you're all right, just to lift the book up so we can show everyone that's watching at home. Now, the guy on the front cover there is wearing green.
Yeah.
So is this about Argyle?
It's not. There's the front cover designer did a really good first draft of it, but the only problem was he had a red top on, so I was like, no, it has to be green.
Sure.
But no, it's not about Argyle. It's kind of a celebration of like lots of kind of chaotic incidents over the years, like following football. So that, you know, from everything down from like the Premier League to grassroots level. So if you do, you know, if you read it, you'll kind of see links to stuff. From an Argyle perspective, there was lots. There's kind of I won't give too much away, but there's a couple chaotic match abandonments in there.
Okay.
So if you think back to like our early Championship days when we played Barnsley, for example, and that time I think we were losing like 4-1 and the game got abandoned. Like that's kind of one that was inspired by Argyle. Obviously we could have done with that last week as well. But yeah, so yeah, not kind of fully Argyle related. Obviously have to be wearing green though.
Yes. No, I think that's a nice touch there. So is this something that you had been wanting to do for quite a long time then, or was it like you said, the inspiration just took you at one point?
Yeah, I've had it in the back of my mind that I wanted to do it for a while. Obviously, I could have done it like 5 years ago when we had a worldwide pandemic and endless time on our hands. But when I had lots of time to do it, I didn't, and I started doing it last year. You know, when I had a 1-year-old daughter at the time, another one on the way, and hardly any time at all. But it just, like I say, it just got to a point where I just really wanted to do it. When I started writing it, I had no idea how actually to release a book or what to do. I just started getting it down on paper and then just worried about the finer details later, really.
So here's one, right? So we talk about authors.
Yeah.
Like, I know nothing about writing, but I'm led to. I've read somewhere before that authors tend to start with the ending in a book.
You're dead right, actually, because what pushed me to kind of go for it was because I had a really good ending in my mind.
Right. Okay.
So I had an ending that I thought was really, really strong. So I thought if I can just kind of get to that stage, and you know, and obviously the challenge then was kind of to lead up to that moment. I could. So yeah, it's true, I guess.
So it came up because of this character that you had envisioned, because I take it follows his story and then the way the club kind of interacts.
It does,
around
yeah.
him.
So basically, like very loosely. So it follows like a lower league football team that's owned for many years by a larger than life chairman. He suddenly passes away, so the club falls to his son Graham. He isn't passionate about football at all, so he's like a reluctant heir to the throne. But he's kind of thrust into this world where if he doesn't take on the club, he's going to have the whole town after his blood. So he kind of gets on with it, and then he's just has a barrage of like farcical, chaotic stuff that happens throughout the season. So yeah, he's the chairman's the main character, which I think makes it slightly different to other books because other really good football books are like Fever Pitch, which is about an obsessed Arsenal fan. You know, that's from a fan's point of view. Damned United, is the manager, and this one's kind of film was from the chairman's perspective.
Well, as we come into your analysis section of the show then, how are you, envisioning this breaking down? Who are the key players that you think will be, the difference makers this afternoon?
Well, like we always do, we talk about the opposition first. Bolton have got, for me, one of the most exciting wingers, wide players in the division, a lad called Mario Cozier-Dubry, who we've picked as a player to watch. He's on loan from Brighton. He's only 20. Left-footed, so he's a bit like Xavier Michi that he cuts in. I thought he was excellent first half last week. He travels with the ball really well. He goes past defenders quite effortlessly. And if they give him too much time, he could be extremely dangerous to play against. He wriggles space well, captures the areas that he wants to attack, and could be a real thorn in Argyle's side if they give him too much room, Erin. They can't afford to allow him to get his head up and drive at the heart of the defence, because you can just see in these moments here he could be extremely dangerous.
Yeah.
He was on loan at Blackburn last year, 22 games, so he's got championship experience as well, and only being 20, they'll probably allow him to flourish more in League One, but he's a very dangerous prospect that Argyle have got to be mindful of going into the game.
Well, you said a good amount of experience from an upper level that he will only be able to build on, and probably have a bit more wiggle room to actually, like you said, deliver and get in those spaces and show people what he's actually capable of.
Yeah, and I think he'll be ruthless as well. He's going to play regularly and get minutes in the tank, and that will bring form. So obviously we've got to respect him. Don't fear him, but respect him, and make sure they don't give him easy amounts of room.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
And then the second player we've gone for is a constant in their side, John McAtee.
Yeah.
Now, John McAtee, 25 years old, attacking midfield, strike forward, 11 goals and 3 assists last season. So someone who has contributed well, likes to finish from all areas of the pitch, can score out of nothing. I always look at contributions, Erin. Like, they scored 67 goals last year, and he was involved in 20% of them. So when you've got a player, whether he is scoring or assisting in 20% of the goals that the team scores throughout the season, you know he's a danger.
Yeah.
From these clips here, you can see how he likes to run the last line quite regularly. He likes to get in that red zone to get, you know, the clinical outcomes that allow him to score. He's got lots of variation in the way that he plays. He's going to be a danger. He played last week. Obviously didn't get anything because they lost the game 2-0, but someone that's going to want to kickstart his season this afternoon.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you see the statistics like that, 11 goals, 3 assists, it's, you know that that's someone that you want to be keeping an eye on.
If you don't, you'll get punished,
Yes.
you know, so they've got to try and keep him quiet. We know that will be a raucous crowd, first game, home game for them, so they'll have probably a packed stadium. You know, we're sending up a brilliant contingent as always, but I think it'll be a very noisy place. And the main aim for Argyle is to try and quieten the crowd as quickly as they can, so that they can get a foothold in the game. Yeah,
because of course it was brilliant for us last week, just despite the result, actually being here in Home Park, you know, having everyone around us. And then on the flip side, Bolton will be waiting for that first home game of the season, which they'll get today, and they will want to be, you know, putting on a show for not only the travelling fans but the players as well, and making it an environment that's not comfortable.
I totally agree, and Barnsley did exactly what Argyle want to try and do today, quieten the crowd. You know, it was really enthusiastic last week here at Home Park. Within 15 minutes we're a goal down, within 25 minutes we're 2-0 down, and it was silent.
Yeah.
So then all of a sudden the enthusiasm's gone. So, but what we're going to do is we're going to pick 2 of Argyle's players to hopefully, you know, springboard the start of the season. It's probably no coincidence we're picking the 2 most prominent forward players from last weekend. So the first one's Xavier Amici. I thought he was excellent last week, home debut. I love the fact that he can go inside on his favoured left foot, so he plays wide on the right, as we know, and he can also go outside. He was very much involved in all of Argyle's main attacking outputs. This was the disallowed goal for Watts. It's clearly a tactic to get him 1v1 often. The fact that he can isolate defenders, go on his outside, on his so-called weaker foot, but he can also come on the inside as well and connect with his teammates. This is a lovely little front foot pass into Matty Sorinola. So, you know, on another day in that opening section last week, he would have got a goal and an assist, and, you know, we'd have been well away. But likes the fact that he stays involved here. Patterson come on, I thought did well last week, and just, you know, getting into those little pockets that cause opportunities or provide opportunities to score goals. Yeah. And the second player is, again, no coincidence, is Caleb Watts, who
I think that,
on debut, player of the match, scored on his debut, had 1 chalked off, 23 years old. I thought because we didn't have a recognised number 9 last week, I thought he led the line extremely well. You know, this was, again, the chalked off goal. Whether it was a foul, it looks like a foul from there, but, you know, that's gone. But these are the bits I like, the fact that he's willing to, you know, shift and shoot. Drew a brilliant save by Cooper in goal there. Got his goal just after half-time as well, so he'll be, you know, happy that he's off the mark. Obviously, we didn't get the win, but all goal scorers like to get the first goal of the season quickly and early in the season. And I just feel that if he can maintain the form he showed last week, he will be a constant and a threat against Bolton this afternoon.
Well, we might be almost done with Argyle breakfast this morning, but we do still have one more guest to bring you. I am pleased to say we're joined in the studio by Jack McKenzie, signed in the summer, fresh from winning the Scottish Cup with his hometown club of Aberdeen. And of course, obviously, I'm sure you'd rather be in Bolton today, but nonetheless, we're happy to have you on the sofa. How are you doing?
Yes, no, all good. Very frustrated not to be in Bolton. It was difficult last week watching the opening game, full stadium here, and not being involved. And similar today, when I watch the game later, it'll be a bit difficult. But that's football. You pick up these injuries, and I just kind of need to focus on my rehab and get myself back out there as quick as I can.
When did you pick up the injury?
So it was about 2 weeks before the Barnsley game. It was just in an in-house game. I've been carrying it for most of pre-season. Just a bit of tendonitis in my knee. I had it for quite a bit of last season as well, and unfortunately it just kind of got to the point where it wasn't really manageable anymore. And I had to kind of just get that sorted, and you don't really want to be playing in pain, and you don't really want to make it worse. So the timing was not ideal, but I think I had a long chat with the gaffer and the physios and just kind of came up with a plan to get me back as soon as I can.
And your injury is like, because it's tendonitis, it's more like deemed a chronic injury, isn't it? So something that builds over time. It's not like a twisted ankle or a hamstring pull. So the frustrations with you would probably be, had you been, injected, you probably could have got through it, but that's going to cause problems long term. So it's probably in the best interest for you and the club to perhaps try and deal with it now, get some strengthening in, and allow yourself to come back. Play the higher proportion of the season. Yeah,
no, exactly. And I first kind of felt it last October, so it's been lingering for a while. And it was, as I said before, it was manageable. I could kind of get through games, but it just got to the point where it just kind of got a bit too much, and then I was kind of struggled to walk after training and stuff like that. And that's not really where you want to be as a player. And you can obviously lead yourself to kind of rupturing tendons and needing surgery and stuff like that, which I really didn't want. I kind of have to take a bit of pain now in terms of the 6 weeks out, but you don't want anything like a 16-week or 5 month, that sort of thing.
It goes with what you're saying. It's like the short-term gain, having like a quick fix, just so you can get out and have that moment of, getting in the match and getting involved, versus having to take the hit, step back, but then, like you said, at least you're not going to be out for weeks and weeks and weeks, hopefully, when it's all resolved again. Yeah, no, exactly. So I've got a plan in mind to get myself back within the next 3-4 weeks or so, and I just need to obviously see how it goes, because it's an injury where it kind of just depends how it is. It's not really a set amount of time you're out for. You just need to kind of see if you hit these checkpoints, and fingers crossed it's not going to be too long until I'm back out there with the boys. Plenty of time for you to actually get out and enjoy a bit of Plymouth, which couldn't be any further from Aberdeen. I mean, what's the move like? Is this a big move? It is. My family joke that I couldn't get any further away from them, but it was a big change. It was a difficult one, because obviously I'm from Aberdeen, playing for your local club. It's kind of like a dream come true. But I made that decision that I wanted to move on, try a new league, try something new. And when the option to come to Plymouth came off, I kind of felt as though it was a bit of a no-brainer for me. It's a club that I think is similar in values to Aberdeen, kind of a one-club city. And when I heard about the interest, I spoke with the recruitment team at the time, I spoke with the manager at the time, and for me it just kind of felt right. And obviously then made the move, and I would say it's actually worked out quite well. It wasn't too difficult. It was kind of, had a wee bit of a few weeks in the off season to prepare for the move, and then when I made it, it kind of just all seemed to work out quite well.
That's good. I mean, how would you describe yourself then as a fullback? So, obviously we weren't able to watch you play last week. So if people are new to you, how would you describe yourself in the modern game?
So when I broke in for the first 3 years, I was quite a defensive fullback. Wasn't bombing on too much, and my strengths were 1v1 defending and that side of the game. But last season I really made a conscious effort to improve my attacking side of the game. I worked hard with the coach Peter Leavin at Aberdeen. I worked one-to-ones, clips, and at the end of training, 15 minutes pretty much after every training, improving my attacking side, and that's something I really kind of brought on last season. So no, it's I like to think I can do both, and whatever the manager wants. I just obviously need to wait and see when I'm back and see what the gaffer wants.
Yeah, so marauding now, because the modern day fullback is expected to contribute goals and assists, assists more than goals. But if we look at the top level, I'm trying to go patriotic, like Andy Robertson at Liverpool marauds forward and gets into those high positions. Is that something that we can expect to see from you, hopefully, when you get back settled?
Yeah, I'd like to think so. I think also the gaffer likes his fullbacks to do different things. He likes them to kind of come inside and into midfield. He likes them sometimes to build as a third centre-back as well, or he likes them to stay wide. So it's kind of whatever the manager wants from me, but I like to think I can give a bit of versatility, and I can kind of do all those sort of roles.
That's good. Yeah, I mean, we actually picked that up, Charlie and I, in the analysis show on Monday with Matty Sorinola inverting, becoming an additional midfield player to make that numerical advantage in the middle. So, and there were times last week that we said, because of what we heard of you being able to push on, sometimes we're a little bit out of balance because Brendan will openly admit he's not an out-and-out fullback. He's more of a centre-half. So with you coming back in soon, give us that height and hopefully that balance moving forward.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think obviously Brendan's playing in that kind of role at the moment. He's an absolutely brilliant defender, 1v1, absolutely amazing. And I think he's obviously kind of building more as a third centre-back, and I thought he'd done that job really well last week. Obviously I don't really know kind of what the plan is for today because I've not been out on the training pitch, but I wouldn't be too surprised if it's something similar to last week, and I think Brendan does that job really well.
Okay, it's time now to get the badge in. We debuted this last weekend and it's already caught the imagination of the Argyle breakfast community. Rule is very simple: 1 minute to name as many clubs as you can from the cropped version of their badges, and that is from the Premier League down to League Two. Caleb Watts got 22 last week, and this week it is time for Joe Hatch to have a go.
I'm Joe Hatch, and this is Get the Badge In.
Right, Joe, you ready?
Yeah.
You can look at me now, okay?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Notts County. Sheffield Wednesday. No idea. Shrewsbury. Newport. No clue. Is that Luton? Gillingham. No clue. Oh, no, I don't know. No clue. Rotherham. Oh, just don't know. No. Bristol City. No. MK Dons. Walsall. Bromley. Grimsby. No clue. Don't know.
Time's up.
Oh my god. I thought it said Premier League.
Premier League down to League Two. Down those ones.
I had no chance of that.
That's
I was
tough.
Leaning closer to the camera so I could try and figure it out. Just the 10 for Joe Hatch. So, you know, a fair few away from Caleb Watts' attempts last week, but that was harder. Was it the same pitches as last week? It seemed more difficult.
It seemed harder.
Yeah.
There was a couple of Premier League ones in last week, I think.
Joe
Jack
Hatch
was
is
sat
good.
here like reeling them off.
Yeah, I think
I only
he'll be
got a couple,
all right.
but I thought Joe would have got a wee bit more. A wee bit disappointed in Joe actually.